Hi and welcome to another Type With Me. In today's video I wanna look at the big comeback of native. You have now great native components within HTML, so you don't need to write JavaScript. So a little bit of history. The 2010s we had heavy JavaScript framework area. 2010s, the JavaScript takes over. We have progressive frameworks. It gives accessibility issues, too much boilerplate, the bundle size goes up. Complexity level, the good, amazing interactivity, powerful state management, and component-based architecture. The bad, it has a steep learning curve. It has configuration hell and performance overhead, and the accessibility often overlooked. So one of the great things that I found is really good is the Accordion native. Here you see that we can very easily click on it and it opens and closes. And here we have our tabs. So that's another one. And if I scroll down, responsive with container queries, and we have our model. I'm gonna show you how this looks like in code. So if we're gonna look here, see here, we have our design tokens being filled up. Then here we have our layer, cascade layers to keep utilities above global resets. Then here we have our resets. Here we have our base, right? Here we have our components. And so our first one is the card component with the background, linear gradient. And here we have our details. It has a background class and padding 12 and border radius. Same with summary. And then here we have our tabs. Nothing special, of course. Here we have our container query, which is great. Here we define container type, inline size, container name card, and then we can use the container card when the minimum width is 420 pixels. We're going to use this one, right? And here we have our dialog and our dialog backdrop and a dialog body. And here we have our div with our class wrap, our header, our main, h2, h3, and our responsiveness, right? So if we go here into, for example, our tabs, we can do this with a tab list, an input type radio, and then T1 name tabs, and we say checked, and here we say label for T1, just here T1, and then class tab panel, and of course that's the one that we show, right? Same here and the same here, right? If we go here to tab panel and then we're gonna check input and label right on top, then here we'll see tab list, and here we see tab list input display none, tab list label, and visual selected state. So here we can say that tab list input checked plus label gives that. Then here tab panel display none, and here tab list input checked plus label plus dot tab panel display block. This does the display block to show actually the content underneath it, which is great, right? And with that regard, we can very easily then create tabs with content that is being set underneath it. Then here somewhere we have our native dialog here, where we can then say, hey, I want to click on it and I want to see my dialog, and here we have our dialog, right? And then we can take an action on it, and if we go up here somewhere, then we can click here, open dialog, and then here we say, hey, class, and then ID open dialog, open model, right, and ID open model, and of course it will then here have some JavaScript. If show model in dialog, then we open dot click alert, models are not supported in this browser, otherwise we have here open click dialog dot show model, and then we show the model, right? Yeah, other cool features that are being added are scrolling of a carousel, right? Now you can do it with native CSS. And here radio slider, CSS only, so you click on it and it will slide, which is also awesome actually. So you can very easily go from one to another. And then this one is actually a native implementation of select, and you can very easily style it, right? So it's also something I think is very awesome. But I think the most important one is actually this one. I really like it. Now let's go and show the code. I'm just going over it very quickly because you can always search on it as well. But if you go here, you see here the section layout, the native looking select, which has then here select native appearance auto, keep native perform rendering. Then here same. I think the most important one is indeed the appearance, right? So it's something you need to keep in mind, and then you can put just some styling on top of that. And then if we go and scroll down, we have carousel with a snap wrap and a snap viewport, and here also snap viewport and snap items on top of it. And then here we have H3 and then P, and here are some snap items. It's great to see what the HTML can be on that. I think the most important one are here snap scroll snap line center, as well overflow X auto, scroll snap type X mandatory. These are and then here scroll bar width thin and scroll bar behavior smooth. I think these are very important concepts to have to get the carousel live. And if we go here, you see then here these articles are snap items, and we can do roll list item image 1 tab index 0, and we can very easily snap through them. And I think that's really awesome. And then here you have the dots where you can go to a certain area, right? Slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. To scroll to the element when targeted, you see. So that's nice. And here you have slides. It's also a little bit constructed with CSS, also with controls, and then here you have select, right, class native, and then here with class native we have styled it, so that's also very great. And I think that's a little bit it, right? But mainly the most of things are being done with an article and just CSS, which is awesome. And if you go here, you see here hover cards, okay, give some kind of special effect. But I think radio button carousel, it's a nice one as well to look into, and to say like, hey, we slide with transform, translate x, translate y, x, translate x with minus 200, so 0, minus 100, and minus 200%. So I hope you learned something from it. It was very interesting to talk about this. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel.